Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time for the nation's sharpest opinion. Abhijeet Ganguly is a former judge today. Till this morning, he was a judge of the Calcutta High Court. Last year, this former judge was pulled up by CJI D.Y. Chandrachud himself after Abhijeet Ganguly gave interviews on television in which he spoke against the Trinamool Congress and Abhishek Banerjee in the context of the alleged job for bribes scam. Today, in the most in-depth interview to Republic Bangla, Abhijeet Ganguly has dropped heavy indications that he is going to be joining the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, I'm sorry, but I must ask you, what on earth is going on, my lords? With the greatest of respect to the judiciary, I would like to ask everyone on the bar and the bench and all citizens of this country, what's going on? You are a judge one day and an MP candidate the other, you'll be a mantri the next day. It's all okay? Is it? No cooling off period required? When former judges quit the judiciary one day and if they are welcomed into political parties the next, is that or is that not an open infringement of one pillar of democracy with the other? And why do political parties allow it? Is that or is that not a transgression of the judiciary and politics beyond justification? And is it or is it not a trespassing to go? A trespassing to go from executing justice without bias to executing and advocating for a political party, a particular political ideology and party on the other. My view, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is. The BJP, if it is welcoming Abhijeet Ganguly with open arms, should be questioned. So should the former judge. My view is that it cannot and should not be seen as a simple expulsion or induction or a career change or a profession change, because judges are by definition and baseline supposed to be above all things political. What is going on? Tomorrow, somebody is going to leave the Supreme Court and within one day also become a minister. My view is also consistent that this is not the first time. History is replete with instances from Nehru onwards when he appointed a judge of the Supreme Court as governor of Orissa. Of these instances, history is also witness to a host of ex-IAS officers quickly becoming part of political parties and governance. And as the world's largest and strongest democracy, we have to ask the question about the cooling off period. Should there be a cool-off period in which it is mandatory 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, depending on the profession in which you are, depending on the position you hold, depending on the particular constitutional office or high office of law or the judiciary which you hold? The induction of professionals into politics is a positive sign because it eradicates the entire stench of the system of political dynasties running political parties. But that induction must not come at a price of trust deficit by the electorate. And what is happening is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the UPSC system and the civil services system in which you have huge quotas and young people have very few opportunities to quickly move up. Despite having domain experience, they don't really get into professional careers to serve the government. And on the other, people who are judges coolly move and then they join political parties. You're going to have service chiefs tomorrow, you have had in the past. In fact, there is no office in which there's a definitive cooling off period. I believe there should be a strong cooling off period. And I believe that it should be made mandatory. If it isn't, we are walking on very dangerous ground. That's my view. Let's debate.
Justice Abhijeet Ganguly has resigned as Calcutta High Court judge and is set to join the BJP ahead of Lok Sabha polls.
Are you going to contest the Lok Sabha polls? Any talks on that?
I cannot say that. It will be decided by the high authorities of the BJP, the election committee of BJP.
Sir, when will you join BJP?
Maybe on 7th. Maybe on 7th in the afternoon. There is a tentative program when I'll join BJP.
রাজ্যের তরফ থেকে বারংবার আপনাকে আক্রমণ করা হয়েছিল বিভিন্ন ভাবে।
রাজ্যের তরফ থেকে আক্রমণ করা হয়েছিল।
শাসক দলের তরফ থেকে তৃণমূল
শাসক দলের তরফ থেকে আক্রমণ করা হয়েছিল, অপমানজনক কথাবার্তা বলা হয়েছিল। তারাই আমাকে বলা যেতে পারে এক ধরনের অনুপ্রেরণা জুগিয়েছেন
Justice Ganguly had run-ins with Mamata government several times for almost 2 years. He had passed orders directing CBI and ED to probe into alleged teachers' job scam in Bengal. TMC MP Abhijeet Ganguly trained guns on Justice Ganguly, saying BJP was in touch with him during his tenure.
উনি যে বিষয়গুলো নিয়ে বলেছেন তার মধ্যে সবথেকে বেশি ইন্টারেস্টিং আমার যেটা লেগেছে সেটা হচ্ছে উনি স্পষ্ট করে একটা সত্যি কথা বলে দিয়েছেন, হয়তো মুখ ফসকেই বলে দিয়েছেন, কিন্তু সত্যিটা বলেছেন বলে আমি তাকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। উনি বলেছেন যে আই অ্যাপ্রোচ দ্য বিজেপি অ্যান্ড বিজেপি অ্যাপ্রোচ মি। এটা খুব ইন্টারেস্টিং, ইউ হ্যাভ টু রিড বিটুইন দ্য লাইনস। উনি তার মানে স্পষ্ট করে বলছেন যে আমি যখন বিচার ব্যবস্থায় বিচারকের চেয়ারে বসে বিভিন্ন শুনানিতে আমার রায় দিয়েছি বা আমার এজলাসে যে সমস্ত ঘটনার শুনানি হয়েছে সেই সময়ে বিজেপি আমার সাথে যোগাযোগে ছিল এবং আমি বিজেপির সাথে যোগাযোগে ছিলাম, বাকিটা আমি সাধারণ মানুষের কাছে ছেড়ে দিলাম।
Speaking to Republic Bangla, Justice Ganguly has hit back at Abhijeet Banerjee.
সম্ভাবনা মানে এটা নিয়ে মাফ করবেন আমাকে, কিন্তু এটা নিয়ে যেন বেট লড়া চলছে যে জাস্টিস গাঙ্গুলি বিজেপিতে দাঁড়ালে কোন সিটে দাঁড়াবেন। আমি একদম সরাসরি জিজ্ঞেস করছি, যার নাম আপনি নিতেও চান না মুখে, সেই ভদ্রলোকের বিরুদ্ধে আপনি ডায়মন্ড হারবার বা দক্ষিণ কলকাতায় কি দাঁড়াবেন?
হ্যাঁ, নিশ্চয়ই, কেন দাঁড়াবো? যদি বিজেপি আমাকে বলে ফাইট করতে।
অভিষেক বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়ের বিরুদ্ধে জাস্টিস অভিজিৎ গাঙ্গুলি।
কি অভিষেক বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়? অভিষেক বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়টা কি?
একটা দলের জেনারেল সেক্রেটারিকে আপনি তুচ্ছতাচ্ছিল্য মানে একেবারে।
না না, আমি জানি না কি অভিষেক বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়। আমি যে একটু আগে বললাম এই ধরনের নাম করবেন না আমার সামনে। একজন দুষ্কৃতকারীকে নিয়ে আলোচনা করবো নাকি আমি? আপনাকে এইটুকু তো মনে রাখতে হবে যে আমি কিছুক্ষণ আগে পর্যন্ত হাইকোর্টের জাজ ছিলাম। আমি একটা দুষ্কৃতকারীকে নিয়ে আলোচনা করবো।
A sitting judge resigning to join politics is not new. Former CJI Koka Subbarao had resigned 3 months before his retirement to contest presidential polls in 1967. Former Supreme Court Judge Baharul Islam resigned in 1983 to contest Lok Sabha polls in Assam as Congress candidate. Should there be a cool-off period between resigning from the post and joining politics? Let's debate.
Neil Basu and Niladri Bhattacharya both support the Trinamool Congress, and my first question is to Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, in the context of Justice Ranjan Gogoi, nominated, supported of course by the ruling party, but nominated by the President to the Rajya Sabha. In this case, you have an active High Court judge in the middle of many, many political cases who coolly walks over and joins the BJP, thereby casting a shadow on everything he may have said or done while being a judge of the High Court. Now, that is something that the ruling party of India must be cognizant about. It's not a good precedent. It's not a good precedent at all, Sanju, and I don't know why the BJP has to do it.
Okay. You raised a pertinent query and a pertinent concern. I just have this to say, Arnab, that if you look at, I was doing some digging around before coming on your show, and most of the judgments by the Kolkata High Court have been by 3-judge bench or 5-judge bench or 7-judge bench, including, the most controversial cases, which the BJP brings up every now and then. And this is not to target the TMC, but because these are the most talked about judicial cases where the TMC has had a nice big fat omelette on its face after losing lock, stock and barrel, the case in the court. Be it the Panchayat poll violence case of June 2023, be it the Bengal violence case in August and September of 2021, which was led by a 5-judge bench led by Justice Rajesh Bindal, or if you look at the Birbhum massacre case, or if you look at the Hansakhali gang rape cases, no judgment was ever delivered in isolation by Justice Abhijeet Ganguly, or for that matter, any judge. Point number one. Point number two, there is nothing in the constitution, if you read between article 245 to 254, where there's a delineation of powers between the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. Nothing in the constitution says that there has to be a cool off period before a judge vacates his sitting position and takes up a political assignment. So constitutionally, it is bona fide. There is no law which suggests otherwise. Point number three, I'm not going to read out that famous line by Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer, who went on to become a High Court judge and then a Supreme Court judge. He joined the Congress. His famous lines are that law without, judges is blind, and judges without, joining politics, they tend to be deaf. So there is, a coexistence that has been in place for decades between the judiciary and the political establishment. But I think that would be a very, very presumptuous argument. My simple point is this. Are there any judgments, are there any verdicts where Abhijeet Gangopadhyay can be nailed down and said that this was passed by Justice Abhijeet Gangopadhyay in isolation? The only one that I remember, which is very relevant to your debate,
depends on what you call nailing down. Now you asked the question there. Yeah, it is. It is.
Chatterjee.
Yeah,
okay,
it is.
Just let me finish in 10 seconds.
No, there is.
Chatterjee's case. Partha Chatterjee's
No, there
case
is. There
the
is.
most.
You asked a
is
question.
the
I
most
want to
famous
respond.
Judgment. Yeah, I'm just finishing, Arnab. Partha Chatterjee's case is the most famous one, where Abhijeet Gangopadhyay clearly said that yes, Partha Chatterjee is culpable in the SSC recruitment scam. But don't forget, the Trinamool Congress went and petitioned the Supreme Court against Abhijeet Gangopadhyay's ruling in the SSC recruitment scam case in Partha Chatterjee's case, and the Supreme Court upheld the verdict by Abhijeet Gangopadhyay. The Supreme Court upheld the arrest of Partha Chatterjee because there was a key witness, Arpita Mukherjee, who started singing like a canary.
No, that is, point is, I'll get Neil and Niladri both to respond. And they are both members of the bar. But having said that, former Supreme Court Judge V.R. Krishna Iyer once said that law without politics and politics without law is deaf. And I'm sure that when he said this, he never meant that the two branches of governance, the executive and the judiciary, should be completely intermingled. My question is, Abhijeet Banerjee's decision to join politics raises serious questions. Republic has been at the forefront of exposing the School Service Commission corruption case, in which, as you rightly say, the Trinamool government sought the intervention of the Chief Justice of India. But the irony is that it was Abhijeet Gangopadhyay who ordered a CBI probe into the SSC corruption case. And now, everything that Abhijeet Ganguly said or did at that time, including the act of giving an interview when he was a member of the bench, will be seen in the context of his being allegedly a BJP agent. And that is why your entire premise is fundamentally flawed, Sanju. There is no legal bar on judges joining politics. But my view is that it does raise some very serious moral questions. And those moral questions, the equal responsibility as much on the judge as on the political party. I'd like Niladri and Neil to come in, and that's my view. Who goes first? Niladri? Okay, Niladri goes first.
I agree completely with you. What you said, it raises a larger question of the society. The judges are supposed to deliver. We all know that Caesar's wife should be above. The judge should not have any question on his tenure or on his judgment. His judgment will be put to questions, but not the intentions behind the judgment. With Justice Gangopadhyay, what we have seen in Calcutta, not sitting at 12:30 in the afternoon and getting up at 1:15, and again sitting at 3 o'clock and getting up at 4 o'clock. See what happens? The magnetic allure of this politics, the magnetic allure, and since there is no cooling period, there is no law by which you say that there has to be a cooling period. We have seen Justice Ranjan Gogoi also doing the same. It brings us to the question of the fundamental question regarding the appointment of judges. Because I personally feel that the system of appointment of judges will have to relook. Because today, Justice Gangopadhyay being elevated to the bar in 2018 and then resigning just 3 months prior to his retirement and joining the political party the next day, it really raises some very serious questions. You should
sorry,
go
I've
back
got
to
a
the
very bad
Bangalore
audio,
principle.
Niladri. I'm just going to fix your audio
Arnab,
while I
can I
get
quickly come in?
Neil in. While I get Neil in,
being a
because
student of-
let Neil have his say and I'll
being a
come into you,
student of-
Sanju. Neil.
Being a student of law and being a member of the bar of the Calcutta High Court Bar Association, my first question to myself is that the incident that happened today regarding Justice Abhijeet Ganguly shook the nation in regard to independence of judiciary. My question to you is whether there is any independence of judiciary or not. What do you understand by the term independence of judiciary? The difference between the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. The incident that took place today, it shook the nation. According to me, it shook the nation that how come a judge within few minutes of retirement joins a political party? So it would not be out of place to say that for last week or for 6 to 7 days, he was in contact with some political party.
But
So
can
whether judiciary...
Neil, can I ask you? Neil, will you only blame the political
Yes,
party?
yes.
Why would you, with the greatest of respect, not blame the benches? Why would we not blame people who have been in high office in the Supreme Court of India and all the high courts of the country
Same
and all
incidents.
the chief justices,
Same
past
incidents.
and present?
Same
Do they
incident
not?
of
Do they?
Ranjan
Do they
Gogoi.
not
Same
know?
incident.
Allow me. No. Do they? Are they so insulated? With respect, with the greatest of respect, if there's a public debate around it, then I can also point out that the 14th Law Commission report, which goes back to 1958, and Sanju should study it, says that judges, it recommends, of course, that judges should not be accepting a post-retirement position under any level of government. This is 2024, that is 1958. Have we been living under a rock all these years? Why have the Supreme Court, various collegiums, various judges, various chief justices in the past not intervened on this question? Why leave this leeway? Are they giving this leeway? 1 minute. 1 minute, sir, 1 minute. The honorable judges of the country pontificate on a number of issues and act on a number of issues and judge on a number of issues, including the issue, for example, of electoral bonds. Now, if they really want a clean up of the system, maybe charity begins at home. Maybe you need to initiate something suo motu to ensure that members of the bench are prohibited lifelong from entering politics. Is that not a relevant question to ask?
Politics, even if they enter into politics, there must be a cooling period.
What if members of the bench were to coolly, after giving up their positions on the bench, return to the bar within a day?
Arnab, I need to make a very quick point.
No, there
Would they be allowed to do that, Neil?
No, that is not allowed.
No, if there is a bar to that, so a former Chief Justice of any court cannot become a senior advocate in that court. Because there will be a conflict of interest. But a former Chief Justice or a judge of any court can join the BJP or the Congress the next day and become a governor the next day. Why? Why so?
This must be protested, and a law pertaining to that is already laid down in, as you said,
Precisely,
in the 14th
that's
Law
my
Commission
point.
report. That must be implemented. That must be implemented.
I need to make a quick rebuttal
I'm
here.
absolutely agreeing with you, Arnab. That must be implemented.
Arnab, can I please come in now?
Sanju.
Thank you, Arnab. Arnab, on one point, I completely agree with you unequivocally and with the other panelists on the other side as well. Do we need greater accountability from the judiciary? Oh, of course, yes. Do we need greater transparency in the Indian judicial system? Oh, yes. Because, the judiciary cannot function in a vacuum, in isolation. You cannot be the judge, jury, and the executioner, to put it metaphorically. But on a more pertinent point, I also want to say this. Yes, ideally there should be a cooling off period. But where I have a problem is with this selective amnesia and selective criticism. Now that Abhijeet Ganguly has decided to join the BJP on the 7th of March, from what I hear and read, in the media, everybody's up in arms against Abhijeet Ganguly. But I want to ask a very, very pertinent question here, and this is very important, Arnab. In 2018, in June 2018, there is a man called Abhijeet Ganguly who resigned as the judge of the Bombay High Court. And Abhijeet Ganguly is very important because Abhijeet Ganguly heard the Sohrabuddin Sheikh case against Amit Shah for the longest time, both when he was serving as the judge in the Gujarat High Court and then later when he got transferred to the Bombay High Court. And within days of resigning as the judge in the Bombay High Court, Abhay Thipse, in the presence of Rahul Gandhi, was welcomed as a congressman, as a Congress party bona fide member with a lot of fanfare. And this is the same Abhay Thipse who's actually fighting on behalf of Nirav Modi in the United Kingdom when the Modi government is trying its level best to have Nirav Modi deported back to India. So I want to ask the Trinamool and people from the other side, you are raising a red flag against Abhijeet Ganguly. Well, you have every right to do so. But where were you when Abhay Thipse joined the Congress
No
party?
red flag.
Where
Where is the
were you?
independence of judiciary? Where is
Where
the
were you
independence of
when a
judiciary?
man
Where is the separation of
who
power?
kept
Where is the principle of
incarcerating
separation of
Amit Shah
power?
in the
There is
Sohrabuddin Sheikh
the
case?
principle of separation of
Did
power.
not even take
There
2
must be a
days to
separation
resign
of
as the
power
Bombay
between the
High Court
executive
judge
judiciary
and join the
and
Congress
the
party in the
legislature.
presence
Where
of
is the
Rahul
separation
Gandhi
of
with a
power?
lot of
There
fanfare.
must be a
If
separation
you
of
cannot
So
power.
you are-
criticize
you are-
Abhay
You
Thipse,
cannot
you
step
cannot
into the shoes
criticize
of the
Abhijeet
executive. You
Ganguly.
cannot step into the
Either
shoes of the
criticize both
legislature.
or
Where is the
criticize
principle
none.
of
You
separation of
cannot
power?
criticize
I ask
Ranjan
this question
Gogoi.
to myself.
You cannot
Where is the
criticize
principle of
Abhijeet
separation of power?
Ganguly.
Can
But when it comes to
I
Abhijeet
step into the
Thipse,
shoes of the
आपके मुंह में
executive?
दही जम
Can the
जाता है.
judiciary step
When
into
it
the
comes to
shoes of the
V.R. Krishna
legislature?
Iyer,
That
who
Arnab.
was
that's your
judge of the
counterpart.
Madras High Court and then joined CPM, आपके मुंह में दही जम जाता है. You will not speak against Hasnain Masoodi, who was a National Conference member and also a judge
What
in the
does he
J&K
say
High Court.
regarding the
You will
principle
not
of
speak
separation
about
of
F.I.
power?
Ribello, who
Separation of
also
power.
heard the
Where is the
Sohrabuddin
principle
Sheikh
of
case.
separation of
And
power?
F.I. Ribello was a member of the Janata Party and then was elevated as a judge of the Bombay High Court. So if you want to speak about Abhijeet Ganguly, speak
I
about
think
F.I.
I think
Ribello.
I
Speak
think
about V.R.
Sanju
Krishna Iyer, speak about
I think
Abhay
Sanju
Thipse, speak about
Sanju
Hasnain Masoodi,
Sanju, it's
Whoever
a
be
little
it,
bit
whoever be it.
Sanju, it's a little bit of a self goal by you tonight.
For everybody. Whoever be
It's
it,
a
then applies
it's a
for
little bit
everybody.
of a self goal by Sanju Verma tonight, and let me explain why. Neil, thank you. First of all, I'd like to get Niladri in next time, but I believe, and my question is to Niladri, though it's a response to Sanju, but the question is to Niladri. Niladri, I believe that it's a little bit of a self goal by the BJP spokesperson Sanju Verma tonight, because she takes the example of Abhay Thipse. And Abhay Thipse, ladies and gentlemen, was the judge in the Sohrabuddin case, Best Bakery
Yes,
case,
yes.
if I'm not mistaken. And
Yes.
he later joined the Congress party.
Yes.
That's
So
what I said.
Sanju Verma,
Yes, it is.
So that's what
Presumably
I said.
Arnav, what you're
worried that
saying is
she-
absolutely
So there is a
correct.
self-goal.
What you're saying is
You are
absolutely
repeating
So
correct.
that's what I'm
Because
saying. I mean, let me
history is
complete.
replete
One
with
minute,
these
one minute.
examples
One
of
minute, I'm
judges
Sanju,
joining
I'm
politics.
responding to you and I'm telling you, one minute, just a minute. The reason I feel she's in a spot tonight, because she must know. In fact, she knows, Niladri, that all along the BJP said that this is bad. This man gave judgments that were politically wrong for us, and the Congress has used him and made him a member of the Congress party. But now she says we are inspired by the same mistakes of the Congress,
my God.
and we are determined to repeat them
Don't
by
twist
bringing
my
Abhijeet
statements,
Ganguly
Arnav.
into
Come
the
on.
BJP.
Don't
That's
twist
where
my
the cookie
statements.
crumbles, you know,
change,
Niladri.
Arnav.
Come on, Arnav, you can do
Times
better.
change,
Arnav
but the
Goswami,
fruits
you can do
remain the
better.
same.
Okay, Niladri
It is
and
the
then
question.
Sanju.
The question
Niladri
is,
and then
Arnav,
Sanju.
I agree with you.
Niladri
agree
and
with
then
you.
Sanju.
Yes.
Niladri first.
Yes, the times change, but the fruits remain the same, Arnav. But the point is the question whether system has to be protected, because this is the very system which keeps on protecting us. And in the system, there's a flaw in the system that has to be identified and that has to be rectified. You cannot compare apples with oranges. If you see Justice Ganguly's judgments, 70% of his judgments are overturned by the Supreme Court. He has single-handedly spoiled the institution of Calcutta High Court, which is a rich heritage of 175 years. But having said so, what the BJP is saying today they are opposing it because it suits them. But at the time of Justice Thipse, it did not suit them. We have seen the case of Justice Hegde when he was superseded in 1970, after the famous judgment by Justice A.N. Ray. He also joined politics. We have nothing against judges joining politics, but you have to be clear of it. Justice Gawai, who is becoming the next Chief Justice of the country, he was very clear when he said to take up a matter that I belong to a political family. Do you have any problem in me taking up the matter? There has to be some transparency in the system. You cannot have different standards for one and different standards.
Yeah,
now
in
let
fact,
me
I-
answer. You know, you
We
can't
can choose
have
for-
I
everyone
think
there.
I think here's a
Arnab, I need my time. I need my time.
I
need
think
my time.
I think
I think
one
that's
minute
fair.
before Sanju responds, I want to make a point, and then I'll let you respond, Sanju, because it's 1 versus 2. But I want to make a point. You know,
It's 1
I'm
versus
the
3.
Honorable Chief Justice of
1
India,
versus
D.Y.
3.
Chandrachud, a very wise man, a very experienced man, a very dynamic man, must take the opportunity here of ensuring that the previous view, in which there was a petition filed by the Bombay Lawyers Association for a 2-year cooling off period. At that time, the Supreme Court bench said that the issue of whether a retired judge should accept any office or not has to be left to the conscience of the judge concerned, and with the greatest of respect to the bench, I completely disagree. What is law for others and what is a bar for others cannot be a choice for retired judges. And in fact, I would go further. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud should also ensure and take steps to ensure that there is a cooling off period which extends to their accepting any private office, their being nominated by any government for any post-retirement job or any international assignment, their being nominated by any government for post-retirement lucrative arbitration proceedings or representation at global organizations. This is very necessary, and the minimum cooling off period should be 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 years for Supreme Court judges, so that that cooling off period is effective and not ornamental. And I think after what has happened, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud can initiate something suo moto to ensure that it is implemented. There is no point for the Supreme Court opening a moral discussion on the issue without taking the responsibility on itself of closing it.
May I
Yes.
come in now, please?
Absolutely, the least minimum. Now, Sanju, my question to you is, my question to Sanju, listen. This gentleman is obviously a very enthusiastic man. He's not even waited for the BJP to nominate him or to bring him in. He has said BJP will bring me in on the 7th. He's very enthu, right? But why are you allowing it?
Okay.
Why? You don't have candidates?
No, let me speak.
You don't have candidates in Bengal?
Arnab, you are the anchor. You are not the panelist. Why are you putting words into my mouth? You know I have tremendous respect for you. And
He's
it's always
raising
tough when
questions.
Arnab
He's
Goswami.
raising questions.
Arey bhai sahab, I
He's
did
raising very
not
pertinent question, which
Please
we
show
heard.
some decency.
He's raising very pertinent questions.
Okay, letter. Neela Niladri letter. Let her respond. Neela Niladri, let her respond. Thank you.
You are talking of fairness. You guys had your turn. I did not heckle you, but the moment Sanju Verma starts speaking, you guys start heckling. So don't give a bhashan on what is fair and what is not. But now let me come to the moot point. First and foremost, I always do my homework. I never score a self goal, much as Arnab Goswami would like to believe otherwise, and I'll tell you why. I started by saying that the judiciary needs to be more transparent, more accountable. Maybe we should think beyond the collegiate system, because judges cannot be the judge, jury and executioner in their own cases. It is like saying, I will give the
Then
exam
please
and I will
implement
decide
the
whether I am
NJC.
pass or fail.
Then
Arey
please
bhai sahab,
implement
मैंने आपको
NJC.
नहीं टोका.
What
और
stops you from
let him have his say.
implementing NJC? National
ठीक है भाई
Judicial
साहब, आप बोल
Accountability
लीजिए.
Committee. What stops
आप
you?
बोल लीजिए पहले. आप बोल लीजिए, जब आपका खत्म हो जाएगा तब मैं शुरू करूंगी. आप बोल लीजिए. Now you can continue. I am quiet.
If
Let
you're
her-
saying
let her-
that is
let
what
her
I'm
complete
saying,
now, Neil.
who will
Niladri.
build the cat?
Please
Who will build
continue,
the
because
cat?
you two are behaving like gundas. चलिए बात करिए. अभी मैं सुन रही हूँ. जब आप गुंडागर्दी
No, one Niladri, let her complete here.
गुंडागर्दी करिए.
We are on national
Okay,
Okay,
television.
now, 1 minute. Yeah, let's go back to the subject. Please, Niladri, don't heckle now. Thank you, Niladri,
you.
please. Thank you. Sanju, complete, please. Thank you. What a
I
hot debate.
repeat what I said. If you have a problem with Abhijeet Ganguly joining the BJP on the 7th of March, as he claims, and as is being bandied about in the media, you should have spoken against Justice Abhay Thipse when he joined the Congress in 2018. You should have spoken against Hasnain Masoodi. He was a judge and then he was fielded by the National Conference to fight from the Anantnag Assembly constituency. You should have spoken against Aftab Alam, who joined the CPI, and for the longest time, he was a judge both in the Gujarat High Court and then Bombay High Court, and along with Abhay Thipse, Aftab Alam and Abhay Thipse are the two people who incarcerated Amit Shah for the longest time. Finally, the Supreme Court said in 2018 that Amit Shah is not involved in the Sohrabuddin Sheikh murder case. So Aftab Alam and Abhay Thipse did their best to incarcerate Amit Shah. So my limited point is, did you speak out in 2018 when Abhay Thipse joined the Congress? No. Did you speak out ever against V.R. Krishna Iyer, who became a part of the CPI? No. Did you ever speak out against Hasnain Masoodi, who joined the National Conference?
But are you guided by Abhay Thipse? Are you inspired by Abhay Thipse and the Congress?
Did you speak out against K.S. Hegde, who joined the Congress? No. Did you speak out against Baharul Islam, who joined the Congress? No.
Did you say that we will do an Abhay Thipse later? No. Did you say we will be inspired by Abhay Thipse and take another judge into the BJP? No. Did you say that we will repeat the mistakes of the Congress party? No. Did you say we will look at issues of conflict of interest and repeat the same thing? No.
The day you speak out against Hasnain Masoodi, the day you speak out against F.I. Rebello, who joined the Janata Party, then you have the bona fide right to speak out against Abhijeet Ganguly also. Because I am saying yes, transparency.
I don't know. I'll allow Neil or Niladri a quick response. Who goes first? Neil or Niladri or both? 10 seconds each.
May it be Abhay Thipse or may it be Abhijeet Ganguly. The same logic applies for each and every person. It is not that we are protesting about Abhijeet Ganguly. May it be Abhay Thipse, may it be Abhijeet.
And ma'am, one thing.
May it be
Abhijeet Ganguly is no Krishna Iyer.
The principle is...
Okay, Niladri now, Niladri
The doctrine of separation of power must be maintained.
Please revisit the full court reference on judicial propriety 1997.
Niladri louder.
Please do your homework properly. Please revisit the Bangalore reforms as laid down by the Supreme Court on judicial propriety, impartiality and conduct.
कि अभिजीत गांगुली को तो हम क्रिटिसाइज करेंगे, but अभय थिप्से को
We are not against
And ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to a really hot debate this evening.
That is the question.
A really hot debate this evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a debate that is. And I believe that the BJP should not be so open to taking everybody in.